And he had a sex tape on J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez has multiple tapes.
We knew then that there was a nice tape out there on J-Lo.
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
His father done things to him that he should be in jail for.
And I can tell the video was graphic in nature.
Can't tell you about the first time I met him, the real truth. Can't speak on it, you know.
Some stories gotta be...
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
Focus right now is Sean Combs because he's a sex trafficker and he's using music and entertainment to sex traffic.
I know Jennifer Lopez has multiple tapes.
There's definitely a tape out there. Somebody gave me like a minute of a female that was allegedly J-Lo on it. I was gonna put out a DVD on that. J-Lo had her business attorney, this guy named Beanie Medina. He was the one managing J-Lo and Puffy at the time. That's the only reason we were going after J-Lo. J-Lo was with Puffy, so J-Lo was on the war, right? Our PR people. It was about 8 top-notch executives inside the meeting when I'm walking in. They were on me, so I was like, ooh, sure. You gotta remember Ja Rule and J-Lo had that hot song out at the time. Irv and Suge relationship was starting to get good. He was like, man, that tape you had on J-Lo, man.
Remember when Suge was saying that he had a sex tape with her? And he had a sex tape on J-Lo. I mean, Suge, if she do this, nigga, can't do that, nigga. Destroy that shit if you got it. He said, yo, Gotti, for you, tell her no one will ever see that shit. Has anyone ever seen?
Shocking news about JLo. She's vanished just before a major court appearance. Rumors are flying that she's facing serious legal heat and might even be skipping town. This could shake up everything she's worked for, her music, films, and legacy all on the line. The buzz around Jennifer Lopez right now is wild.
But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
Yo, word on the street is that Jennifer Lopez will be required to testify in Diddy's trial because she has allegedly been mentioned a bunch of times in the...
I mean, she was one of the close. I feel like anybody he dated should be, right? Because I'm pretty sure he shared stuff with them. You know, when you do your pillow talking, yeah.
The new 120 lawsuits. But there's a bit of a problem. She's nowhere to be found. Jennifer Lopez has allegedly gone missing. Child, this can only mean one thing. She knows, guys. She knows she's going down for all the crimes she helped Diddy commit, and there's no way out. I mean, y'all have been saying for ages that she needs to be held accountable, and it looks like the day has finally come. That is, of course, if the feds can find her. Now, when it comes to J-Lo, we know that she was involved in the 1999 incident when she and Diddy were together and went to a nightclub called Hot Chocolate at Midtown's Club New York in December 1999 to celebrate the release of Shine's soon-to-be-released album. Based on reports, when it reached around 2:20 a.m., Diddy accidentally knocked a drink out of a patron's hand named Matthew Allen, whose street name is Scar. Apparently, Scar didn't take it as an accident, and he confronted Diddy over knocking down his drink. One thing led to another, egos were bruised, shots were fired, and Natanya Rubin, who was caught in the crossfire, confirmed that J-Lo smuggled the Bang Bang into the club, and she is the one who handed it to Diddy before they ran away. Honey, immediately after...
That's so crazy, man. Like a lot of these clubs, like, they don't be searching the women like they do the men. And you see how easy that is. Like, if you want to like set somebody up, you can have a girl go to a club and act like you don't even know her. That's so crazy, man. I mean, I've been to a lot of clubs back in my days, and you know, there was like shots fired, but it was always like outside, people arguing in the parking lot.
Is JLo headed to court? It's not about music or movies, and that's what's got people talking. She was reportedly tied to a high-stakes case involving powerful figures in the entertainment world. Some say it's linked to a massive financial scheme, and shockingly, JLo might not just be a witness. While nothing's confirmed, whispers of secret deals and big money have thrown her name into the mix. In Hollywood, One wrong move can pull even the biggest stars into deep trouble, and this time, all eyes are on her.
Incident, J-Lo and Diddy sped away in a 1999 Lincoln Navigator, but ran a red light and were pulled over by the police. Based on police reports, they were both in possession of a stolen 9mm, which was found in the trunk, and they were both arrested. But J-Lo's horror show didn't end there, because her next 14 hours were spent in a cell, and the police source said she took turns crying unintelligibly and sobbing uncontrollably. Eventually, both Diddy and J-Lo walked away, but unfortunately, Shine was the fall guy for the incident, because J-Lo lied to the jury about what happened and protected Diddy. Guys, this right here, this is what they're going to get J-Lo for. And the unfortunate thing for J-Lo is that people like Shine and Natanya are willing to collaborate with the feds. Natanya even said that she was willing to have the fragments taken out of her face for ballistics evidence because she is happy to have the case reopened.
So none of this is breaking news. All the stuff they're talking about right now. You know, I clicked on this more so about where the hell J-Lo is at. Like, is she trying to get away from, you know, testifying? Hopefully they'll get into that.
Like, she is willing to have a doctor remove a part of it in her face so that they can use it as evidence if need be for the trial, even if it will cost her her life. You see, according to Natanya, at the time when the incident happened, people believed Diddy more than her. But at the time, she couldn't do anything because, one, Diddy was more powerful, and two, she was also a mother, and her focus was just getting to her kids safely. But now she feels like justice finally needs to be served, and even J-Lo needs to go down for her involvement and for lying in front of a jury. Basically, J-Lo smuggled a firearm into a club, handed it to Diddy, who had the intention to harm. Then she and Diddy ran away after the incident, lied about what happened. They made sure J-Lo also lied to the police and to the grand jury, and then they both made sure that someone else went to jail for their crime. The other thing is that Lil Rod mentioned the 1999 incident in his lawsuit, alleging that Diddy bragged about getting away with crimes. Specifically, Lil Rod shared that Diddy was responsible for what happened in the nightclub in New York City with Shine because he bragged about getting away with it. Speaking of Shine, after Diddy's apology video went viral, he's one of the people who reacted, and in a post shared on Instagram, Shine denounced Diddy and showed his support for those who were affected by Diddy's actions, saying, "I vehemently denounce the repugnant behavior of Sean Diddy Combs captured on the video. As a father of a precious daughter, a global citizen, and the next Prime Minister of Belize, I want absolutely nothing to do with people who engage in this pattern of diabolical behavior." Shine has actually also been very vocal about how he believes that both J-Lo and Diddy should be made to pay for their crimes. So if the feds are looking into all these other cases that were swept under the rug, there are pretty high chances that J-Lo will need to answer for her crimes as well. Okay, other than this incident, people are also saying that J-Lo witnessed firsthand how Diddy can get in different other situations. For instance, there was a time when
Quick question, because like the whole situation with Cassie in the video we seen and Diddy, they're saying Diddy can't be charged for that because it happened, you know, it happened so long ago. Is that the same case with this whole Shine situation? You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Can he be charged for that because it was so long ago? Or what would they be charging him for exactly?
Deal was given a story about how Diddy threatened to put his hands on Will Smith because Will and Jada were allegedly hoping to hook up with J-Lo. Apparently, when Will and Jada started talking to J-Lo suggestively, Diddy was visibly upset. So he walked to Will Smith and straight up told him that he felt like he was trying to hook up with J-Lo. He literally wanted to punch Will Smith and requested that Gene remain in his vicinity in case he needed protection.
Birthday party that I think either Matt Damien was giving for Ben Affleck.
It said Matt
It was just a
Damien.
little gathering. It was at the Four Seasons. Will Smith and his sister and her husband, we were all sitting on this side of the room. Matt Damien,
Ben
Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and they were sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he was like this, you know, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close because I'm a snuffer.
In addition,
with what we know, everything we know about Will and Jada, with that red table talk and the August Alsina, whatever his name is, it's not hard to believe. It's not.
Picture JLo on the stand, exposing the secrets of the entertainment world, testimony that could ruin careers and shake the industry. But JLo's no rookie. She's sharp, strategic, and always thinking ahead. If she vanished before court, it's not random, there's a reason. Maybe she's shielding someone, or maybe speaking out puts her at risk. Whatever the truth is, it's serious enough to jeopardize everything she's built. Some say it's all a mix-up, but when a star like JLo pulls away at the last second, you know there's more to the story. What does she know, and who else might fall if it comes out?
Welcome back. We're spotlighting the firestorm surrounding music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. In the wake of more than 100 new sex assault allegations, we're wondering, how dangerous really is Diddy? Now, he's been denied bail twice, we know, by two different judges. This week, his legal team, by the way, submitted a notice of appeal to the U.S. District Court, trying to reverse those rulings and get him out. He's being held in federal jail, the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, and he maintains his innocence. Now, before we start talking about his upcoming federal case, let's look back a little bit at the turbulent times of Sean Diddy Combs.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now.
As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers. Agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight anymore.
We have a very special guest we want to welcome in now. He's a retired NYPD detective, widely known as the hip-hop cop, Derek Parker. Derek, good morning to you. Thanks for coming on Opening Statements.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Let's take a trip back to the 90s together, please. Back in the 90s, set the scene for us. I understand that you were tapped to start up the NYPD's Rap Intelligence Unit.
Yes, I was given that task to create this unit to deal with the violence in the hip-hop community and to provide a better understanding of what went on for the police commissioner and the chief of department.
So then how did you get in contact with Diddy for the first time? What was the first time you two crossed paths?
Well, I've been watching Diddy for a while, back in the 90s, and one of the bigger events that I had was the shooting at Club New York involving himself with J-Lo and Shine. I was tasked to go there. I got a phone call in the middle of the night to get up and go to the city because this happened. And when I went to the precinct that night, it was very chaotic because all the lawyers were outside and they were all applauding me
saying somebody with brains has finally showed up. We want to see our client. It was really, really a chaotic scene. So basically what happened was that there was a shooting inside the club where Diddy, I call him Puff back then, was in the car with J-Lo and Wolf, his bodyguard. They took off and left, and Shine, who was with them, apparently came out with a gun in his hand, and the police arrested him on the spot. And then what happened was that while they were in the precinct, they brought J-Lo and Diddy back with Wolf to the Midtown North precinct, and when they brought them back, I spoke with them very briefly, and then we transported them back to Midtown South. That was when the precinct of occurrence was. And then the DA came in, and then he handled the case from there, and then they did the interviews, and then we went from there and handled that.
JLo's latest move has everyone guessing she's disappeared, and rumors say she's somewhere unexpected. Whether she's blending into city crowds or tucked away in luxury, she's keeping things quiet. No flashy trips, no social media sparkle, just silence. Some claim she's in Argentina, where her roots and language skills help her go unnoticed. Others say Dubai, a celeb favorite with private villas and fewer legal risks. One thing's clear, JLo knows how to vanish without a trace, and she's always a step ahead of the storm.
Did you agree with how that case wound up proceeding against Shine?
Well, I have to say that, Shine was caught with a gun that night, so it happened with him. I can't say he's totally innocent, but, it went the way it went. I mean, it was very difficult because there were conflicting statements from witnesses that said what Diddy did. One person said he had a gun. Some people said he didn't have a gun. It was just a lot of things going on back then. The DA had a very tough time to prosecute that case.
I was going to ask you about that, Detective. Weren't there two guns, according to some accounts, that Shine had one and Diddy had the other?
Well, the other gun you're talking about was probably found in the car that they were traveling in. That was the second gun that was that had been found that night. So the police had recovered two guns. You're correct in that.
Gotcha. And so, Detective Derek, so that was the first time you crossed paths, and then along the way, I understand you had more and more interaction with him, more arrests, so many so that you started getting the nickname Diddy's Detective. Tell us kind of how that happened, please.
Well, what happened was that, I've been following Diddy for a while. I mean, the East Coast, West Coast war was in the early 90s when that happened, out there with Bad Boy Records and then Death Row Records with Suge Knight. So, I mean, I traveled to Los Angeles and to Las Vegas back then, but I followed Diddy. I followed his career, and every time he got into trouble, I would get called by the chief or the chief of detectives or the PC. The police commissioner would call me as well when he wanted information about what went on with this individual. So he had the Steve Stout assault at MTV with the MTV thing, so I had dealt with that. But it was a lot of things that people started nicknaming me Diddy's cop, because every time he got into trouble, I was there. I had to be there to give the brass and the department an update on what was going on with him and why these things were happening with him.
Mm-hmm. Detective, tell me, when Tupac was shot at the recording studio in New York, and at the same time he was shot, we know Diddy's in the building, were you called in to investigate that?
I was on the phone with the detective that was responding to that scene, and I told him it was going to be very difficult for him to really get a handle on what was going on, because, people had called me and told me what was going on with that shooting at the Tupac studio. So I knew it was going to be very difficult to get Tupac to cooperate and to say who shot him. And there was always some banter that he may have shot himself when he pulled his gun out as he was being robbed. Mm-hmm. And that was always the case back then.
I think he did, right? I think that was documented that he did accidentally shoot himself in addition to being shot by someone else.
That is
right,
correct. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that, Detective. And so then, here we go. Things progressed, right? The rap wars, as you know, the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, and then Tupac is killed. Were you consulted on that? I'm so curious if you were consulted as to what you may have known about Diddy at the time.
Well, I went out when Tupac was killed, I had told my superiors here in New York that we were going to have a problem with this. And I keep remembering this same line. My inspector said, Derek, listen, they don't kill people in rock and roll. Why are you involved in this? And I said, well, this is going to be a big deal, because I was in the cold case squad. I was doing unsolved homicides for a long time. And my captain didn't really want me to be pulled over into this rep intelligence thing, but it just happened. And then when Biggie Smalls got killed, that was the biggest problem that we had in New York, because I had to formulate a plan to for his burial and for the funeral and for all the threats that were being given out to to Diddy, to Little Kim, to several people involved in his entourage at this funeral. And that's when we had a big problem in New York, where we had to come up with an attack plan to make sure that everybody came here that was safe and that we had any problems and Diddy wasn't really assassinated by some people that wanted to get at him.
I'm so glad you offered that, Detective. Thank you. That was going to be the next thing I was going to ask, your involvement when Biggie was killed. In your detective work, in particular, following Diddy, keeping tabs on him, knowing what's going on, investigating some of these incidents you mentioned, did you ever come across any information tying him to either the murder of Tupac Shakur or the murder of Biggie Smalls?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The murder of Tupac Shakur was done by some individuals that were out in LA. It's an LA-based informational about the people that were involved. Diddy, yes, Diddy had some beefs with Tupac back then, but to say that he was directly involved in that right now, that's too premature to say that. There's been a lot of talk about, this payment for assassination against Tupac that maybe Diddy provided, but that's really inconclusive right now. We have to see how that really forms out. As far as the Biggie case is concerned, the individuals that were involved in that, one of the individuals is dead, from what I know. And in the Tupac case, 3 of the individuals are dead, and there's only one person that's still alive, and that's Keefe D, and he's going to be going on trial next year sometime for the murder of Tupac.
Right, Detective. And as you said, a big question is whether or not information may come in about any alleged payment, allegedly for $1 million for the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. Was that statement made by Diddy is a big question here. I'm wondering if we're going to get some answers. Detective Derek Parker, I have so many more questions for you. You have lived a fascinating life. You've written a book about some of your casework. Take a look at this. You got it up on the screen. Notorious C.O.P. Inside the story of the Tupac, Biggie, and Jam Master Jay investigations from the NYPD's first hip-hop cop, Derek Parker, with Matt Deal. I can't wait to read your book, and I'd love to have you come back on the program. As you know, this investigation is quite voluminous, and we have the trial of Keefe D coming up as well very soon, and there could be somewhat of an intersection, as you know, Detective, with cases.
Wondering if JLO's hiding out in Europe? It's possible, but some say that's too predictable. The real Buzzchi's gone totally off-grid, maybe somewhere deep in the South Pacific, like Bora Bora or Fiji, far from the spotlight. Imagine her in a private villa, no glam, just waiting out the storm. But she's not alone. Rumors suggest Ben Affleck might be helping her stay under the radar, either by disappearing with her or playing it cool in public. And her twins. No one's sure if they're with her or staying safe with family. The wildest part. Insiders say even her own team is in the dark. She vanished without telling anyone. For someone as calculated as JLO, that's the biggest surprise of all.